everybody. Welcome to Vision Expo 2019. We're here to talk about specialties in optometry and why they're important. Do you need a specialty? Do you need a residency? And why we've chosen to do kind of what we do. So I'll start. My name's Dr. Patricia Fullmer. I work out of Huntsville, Alabama at a group practice with some friends of mine. Started, though, in disease. Did a ocular disease primary care residency at a VA hospital. And then ran a surgical referral center for 4 years where we did nothing but disease, no primary care at all. So lots and lots of disease in my background. That's what I do primarily within our practice now, with a little bit of primary care mixed in, and have fun every day, something different every day for sure. How about y'all?
I am Dr. Callista Ming. I practice in Los Angeles in private practice. I did my residency in contact lenses at Nova Southeastern University. So in private practice, I get to mainly focus on specialty contacts and grow that within the private practice setting, and I do primary care on the side as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Sloan Rajadiksha. I went to UC Berkeley for optometry school. Callista and I are actually schoolmates. Yes. Go Bears. I currently practice in a community healthcare center in Williamsburg. So I live in New York and I practice in Williamsburg. And I specialize in vision therapy and rehabilitation, which is really great. So I mostly see a lot of kids, but our center is open to people of all ages that have any binocular vision issues or need rehabilitation for vision.
What made you choose to do the specialties that you've gone into?
So the main driver for doing a specialty is being passionate about something, and my main reason and why I love my specialty is being able to offer my patients something that sometimes other doctors can't. And on a daily basis, I get to hear, I have not seen this well in years, and that just makes my day.
So I decided to do vision therapy because during optometry school, I'd heard the buzzword about residency. And I was like, okay, I think I want to specialize in something. I want to find something within optometry that I really like and I'm passionate about, just like you guys. And I really enjoyed learning about binocular vision in optometry school. And I was hoping that I liked it in clinic. And when I was in clinic and I was doing vision therapy with these patients, and just being able to see how the progress in their vision helped them not only relieve their symptoms, but it kind of made them more confident about who they were. So that impact that I was causing for them, that progress, it was amazing for me. And so I was sold. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a part of their lives. I want to see their progress on a weekly basis. Which is why I decided to do it. I kind of landed in this kind of a dream job, actually, coming out of residency from SUNY. I found this practice that it's a community health center, but it's a multidisciplinary community health center. So not only do they have vision rehab, they have physical therapy, they have occupational therapy, they have speech therapy. So it's kind of a multidisciplinary rehabilitation center where patients are treated holistically. So if they come in with a visual problem, I can redirect them to one of my colleagues if I see that they also need occupational therapy, and we do a lot of co-management that way.
Yeah, that's a great point. I was very similar when I was in school. Started kind of, doing our rotations and figuring out what our likes and dislikes were, and disease was always something that spoke to me because I liked the challenge, first of all, and then I liked, kind of the investigative part of it and trying to figure out the puzzle. And then beyond that, what really got me was being able to make that difference in the patient's life and know that, where I may not be able to cure it, if it's something like glaucoma or whatever, I can improve their quality of life or at least preserve it going forward, and help them understand why it's important, because I think a lot of patients don't really fully grasp some of the stuff that's going on with their health and their vision. And when we can translate what's happening in their eye to the rest of their body, it's amazing to see that light bulb go off. And so for me, it definitely started in school as well. When you're in school, how do you start identifying that? Is it just what clinic you have the most fun in? Is it, the one that you get the best grades in? Like, how do you start to really figure out that this is what I want to do with my life?
Yeah, so I remember asking one of my mentors in clinic, how do I want to do a residency. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do it in. I think I know what I like. And he goes, think about the patients that keep you up at night, the ones that you're so curious to figure out a solution for, and what is the problem that you're trying to solve. And a lot of times with binocular vision, for me, it's always a puzzle. It's no black and white answer. It's not a -2 myope that I can give him glasses and be like, I've solved your problem. A lot of times it's, we're gonna try this, we're gonna maybe try some prism, we're gonna do vision therapy, and we'll pivot during the therapy. So those things kept me very intrigued, and because of that, I was like, okay, I think this is something that I'd be interested in, keep me challenged every day at work.
Definitely agree with that. So in school, I guess with contact lenses, it's something I was really passionate about. Like Sloan said, what are the ones that get you thinking? And you're like, I need to solve this. I need to figure out what is going on with this patient and how to make this better. And that's what I found with contact lenses, and specifically specialty contact lenses. So not the regular contacts you and I can sometimes just wear, but these are patients that can't see with glasses, with soft contacts. They need that extra step above. They're the ones that give me the most satisfaction and joy. And sometimes my patients are like, you do magic with these lenses, and that is such a great feeling.
So obviously not every single OD can be specialized in something, or we wouldn't have primary care, and we need that. How do you, speak to someone who's maybe on the fence between just going straight into practice after school and just starting with primary care and kind of figuring it out from there, versus somebody that's maybe thinking about a residency or trying to figure out their path?
So I think that every optometrist can benefit from a residency, honestly, and I find it a little surprising that it's not a part of our curriculum. Because if you think about it, you're in clinic for maybe 2 years in third year, and then in fourth year out on your rotations, but you really haven't had enough experience to just jump into something and get started. I'm sure a lot of people do it, and I know they do it, so it's fine, but the amount that you learn and the exponential growth in residency, it's not comparable. What people say, 5 years of practice, and I absolutely agree with that. The caliber of patients that I saw in my residency, it was amazing, and it's nothing that I don't think I could have gotten that. And I couldn't have been able to provide the level of care that I wanted if I hadn't done a residency. So for somebody that's kind of on the fence and not really knowing, I would say, there's a primary care residency, and in that residency, you'll likely see patients that'll help you figure out what part of primary care, or maybe you'd want to pivot to some other specialty, but I think during the residency, you'll figure that out.
Absolutely, and I think it also lends itself to building your own self-confidence, right? Because we go from school where we see one patient every 2 hours, if they even show up, and then if you go straight into primary care, a lot of times you're seeing 15, 20 in a day all of a sudden, and there's a certain insecurity that comes with being thrown into the fire that way. And I think residency is a perfect bridge between school and going out on your own, whether it's truly on your own with a cold start, joining a practice, joining a hospital setting, co-management, whatever it is. When you have that extra year and all those patients that are yours, but you still have mentorship and your colleagues and things like that to help, makes a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely. Well, with residency, like Sloan said, I think if I hadn't done one, maybe you can, or if someone hasn't, you maybe can learn about certain specialties, but it can take 5 years to get that confidence and to get the skills necessary to do that. And now, even after just a year and a half, I felt confident enough to build a specialty practice on my own.
So I think specializing comes a lot from your experiences in school. And it's not just your experiences in clinic, your experiences at shows and talking to people and getting involved in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I was at a sports vision practice before optometry school even, so I kind of knew before even entering optometry school that this is what I wanted to do. There's not too much binocular vision stuff that goes on at conferences, and I am a diehard conference goer. So that part was a little tricky for me, but there's always doctors that need CEs that attend these, so it's a really great way to connect with other doctors that specialize in whatever specialty you want to do. You can grab lunch, grab coffee, and kind of help them, or have them, talk to you about what they're doing and see if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, well, and you can also attend other things that might help you round out the other parts of your practice, right? Because it's not like we go in and I'm like, okay, well, unless you have a disease, I'm not going to see you, or unless you need a contact, I'm not going to see you, right? That's not how it works. We're treating the whole patient.
Yeah, definitely, like you mentioned with marketing yourself, just getting out there. When you go to conferences such as this, you get to meet people in your specialty that may not be in your area. They always have insight into different things. And getting involved with local societies as well. I decided to become a fellow of the Scleral Lens Society, and the people I've met through that have been great and guided me in my career as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And, it's something to remember that it only strengthens the foundation for whatever you want to do with your career beyond that, right? It opens doors. I know I couldn't have gotten my first job without having done the residency that I did and specializing in that. But I think one of the coolest parts about optometry is that, now 5, 6, 7 years out, 10 years out, even 20 years out, if you looked around and said, I kind of want to maybe try specialty contact lenses or VT or whatever, we have the networks of people to start to talk to so that you don't have to necessarily do a residency, but you can also pick it up and learn it if that's something maybe down the road that you want to add to your practice or you don't know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's conferences like COVD and NORA just for binocular vision that you can go to and spend a weekend and your knowledge will grow exponentially. Same with contact lens, right?
Contact lenses, the Scleral Lens Society is always offering courses and workshops at all these events to learn more about the specialty.
I think I'm actually taking a workshop in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think that's something really unique to our profession. There's not a lot, you don't see a whole lot of neurosurgeons being like, I think I'm going to do the foot tomorrow, Like we can do that sort of thing, which is fun. So what would you say to a student, as in their early years that don't know anything about really where they want to go yet? How do they start sorting through all of it? How do they start figuring it out?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, attend a lot of conferences during school. Learn out as much as you can, but take a break to go to more continuing education classes, because the people that I met at conferences really helped me rejuvenate my perspective on optometry. It's really amazing when you come back and you learn from these people and you see what new things people are doing. Everybody has their own unique success story. For us, we did residencies, but there are people that are starting cold from the day after they finished optometry school. So it's a really great way to learn that. But people, as students especially, I know myself, we get really stressed. We're like, oh my God, thinking about when am I gonna find that job? And it's like day 2 of optometry school. I don't even know how to work a slit lamp. But it's just, it comes naturally, especially if you put yourself out there, you make it known. 1, where do you wanna live? 2, what kind of practice you're trying to get into or what kind of specialty. But that comes with clinic, with exposing yourself to different practices.
I think definitely getting out there, just meeting people, networking as a student. You get to speak to so many different people doing different things. And actually, when I first went into optometry school, I thought I was going to do vision therapy and VT. I thought I loved kids. And then little did I know, maybe not so much.
Yeah, those preconceived notions change really quickly. I was the same way. I would say they get involved as much as you can, but not just with associations or not just with conferences, but tap into the resources at your schools, tap into your upperclassmen. Don't just, we sit in class sometimes and we, like for instance, contact lens class itself, I thought was super boring, but I love doing it in clinic. So now I've been able, since I have kind of gone more the disease route, to incorporate some specialty lenses to treat my disease patients. So I took those little foundations of what I enjoyed in actual clinic and what I learned from my professors and actually talking to them beyond just sitting through their class and going home so I could get home and watch whatever show I liked or whatever. I really formed a relationship with those people and picked out, different strengths within each of them that I could pick their brain about so that I would know when I got out.
I know. I think during the first 2 years of optometry school, there is a point where you're pretty jaded because you're not seeing patients yet, you don't know where this is going, you haven't quite applied anything. And then in third year, even though third year is probably the hardest year because you have boards, you're in clinic, and you're taking classes, I think that's when it all starts to come together. So if a first-year student was asking me about specialties, I'd say, let's pump the brakes. Yeah. Let's just get through the first couple of years, get into clinic, and it'll come with time.
Yeah. What would you say to somebody that asked you if you had to do a specialty to be a successful optometrist?
I definitely don't think you have to do a specialty to become a successful optometrist. I think specialties just give you that confidence. And coming straight out of a residency, you have a confidence that you might not have until about 5 years into practice, maybe going out on your own, doing your, I'm currently looking into partnering into a practice, and I think I wouldn't have had that confidence and ability, and I'm only about 1.5 years out of residency.
Yeah, I think, definitely success has different definitions. Like for somebody, starting cold is success, or even just finding a job in a location where you want to live is a success. So you definitely differentiate yourself a little bit more with a specialty, but it has to be something that you're passionate about. Don't do a specialty just because you think it's going to generate more income or you think that's what you should do. It should be something that drives you to help people more, and that's what's going to get people in the door. So, and obviously that'll make you successful too, but it shouldn't just be just to do a specialty. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. I know some doctors, they do a residency, and then I speak with them, and then I'm like, so what do you practice? And they don't practice their specialty, and that just surprises me. So yes, it does have something that you're passionate about and that you want to do and you see yourself doing in your career.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of those points. I think you certainly don't have to, because our profession is such a unique one that you can go straight into practice, or you can join, a corporate entity, or you can do whatever makes you happy. But to me, a specialty is just a brilliant way to open doors for yourself, and that's never a bad thing. Because even if you do get into a residency and decide that you don't like that specialty, well, now you know, and I bet you're going to make some connections that are going to help open doors anyway. So why shut those off to yourself unless you just absolutely know that there's something that you want to do directly after school and that door is already open for you.
Right, and being a specialist in something makes you a great referral source. Like I have my classmates, I have friends calling me, they're like, hey, I have this patient sitting in my chair before I dilate, what kind of binocular vision stuff should I do because they have these symptoms? And I love being that source of, connection for them and being like, okay, this is what you want to do, or if you want to have them come back, these are some follow-up tests you can do. And if they don't have the time to do that, they can refer them to me, which I'm absolutely more than happy to see them. And if I have a patient who, let's say, is more disease-oriented or needs a specialty contact lens, I'll be able to refer them to you. So that really builds, co-management within our profession.
Yeah, and I think that is something that optometry sometimes lack, is co-management within the optometry profession. We're always so used to referring to ophthalmology, referring out, but I think, like Sloan mentioned, I have other ODs referring to me for specialty consults, and I'm not as good at vision therapy in certain disease, and I want to be able to have that referral site as well to refer if I need to.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely important. When you finish whatever it is that builds your specialty, or you decide to take it on and learn it yourself, and once you get to that point where you know that you know it and you're ready to do it, get your name out there. Go talk to, go to your local meetings, go door to door to your friends' practices and be like, hey, this is what I love. If you don't love that, send them to me. I will send them back, We don't tap into that nearly as much as we should, because we have some really brilliant minds in our profession that would love to help, and they don't necessarily want to step on toes because there's plenty of other things to do for each and every one of us to find that niche that we like,
And I think Calista made a great point about referring within optometry. We are so eager to refer to ophthalmologists, but some of the stuff that we do, only optometrists can do, Vision therapy, for example, some sort of specialty contact lenses, and even disease. A lot of times, I think if somebody's referred to an ophthalmologist, they'll get great care, but perhaps they'll have a longer wait, as opposed to an optometrist who might have that opening right away. And it might be maybe more local, but we're not thinking about it. So there needs to be something where we are more, exposed within optometry to what we specialize in. I know in New York, we're actually building a platform, so optometrists are more aware of what specialty optometry options they have, so we can kind of inter-refer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's something in my first job that just kind of the nature of how we were set up was all OD referrals to me, and I loved that because they were colleagues, and we could have those conversations, and I can call them up and say, this is what I'm going to do when they come back to you. This is where they'll be at. You can manage it from there, or whatever. And there was a lot of very mutual benefit that came from that, and plus it's very rewarding to know that you're treating the whole patient. And it may not all be in your office with vision therapy, or in yours with contacts, or with me with disease, but throughout the profession, we're taking care of them. So kind of wrapping up, what would you want to leave our profession with, or our colleagues with, who maybe are, thinking that they don't necessarily need to do that. They don't need to be an expert in something. They can, should they? Do they need to?
I think if you're a student, I think absolutely consider doing a residency, because that will really open up your eyes to what you want to do. And even if it is primary care, it's a great residency, and you'll figure out within that what specialty you want to do. As for colleagues, it's never too late. Like we were just talking about, there's constantly continuing education courses. You can always bring in a specialty to a practice, or even hire someone that maybe does that specialty and incorporate it into your own practice. Because the more you can offer, the more specialties you can offer, the more patients you can treat. And that's the end of the day why we're doing optometry, is to help people.
Yeah, definitely. Just getting out there, getting your name out there, networking, deciding if you want to do a residency. The more people you talk to, the more you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I would just say never stop learning. I completely agree, whether it's through a residency or through continuing education or through networking with other ODs and finding a mentor that can kind of help you. Our profession is evolving, and so can we. And even if we go straight into private practice and do everything, which is awesome, we can still find our passion within that and grow that. And then we can either market ourselves to build our practice, or if you're looking for a new position or coming out of residency, it opens so many doors to go to them and say, I can build your practice because I bring this to the table. I think that's something that students can really empower themselves with when they take that route.
And even as a new grad, even if you didn't do a residency, I think we bring a lot to the table that older ODs weren't able to treat and manage in the past, that we now, as new grads, can bring that to the table with or without a residency.